Welcome back to London Calling, the latest lowdown for every Broadway buff about what's happening on the other side of the pond. Later we'll catch up with Tom Sturridge, who's starring with Jake Gyllenhaal in Seawall: A Life. But first, let's take a quick look at which shows the Brits are getting into one of their infamous queues for. We're keeping an eye on this one at Broadway.com HQ. Following a sold-out, much-acclaimed run at the National Theatre, the Lehman trilogy is playing to packed houses at the West End's Piccadilly Theatre. Helmed by the ferryman Sam Mendes and starring Simon Russell Beale and Adam Godley, the show follows 3 generations of the family behind one of the world's biggest financial corporations. Over at the Garrick, John Malkovich is making his first West End appearance in almost 30 years in David Mamet's new play, Bitter Wheat, which focuses on Barney Fine, the head of a major Hollywood studio who falls from power to shame. Meanwhile, Clive Owen has returned to London's boards for the first time in 18 years, intriguing crowds as a defrocked priest in Tennessee Williams's The Night at the Iguana at the Noel Coward Theatre. Shout out to Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber, aka Dad, whose first 3 shows of note have all been revived this summer: Joseph at the Palladium, Superstar at the Barbican, and Evita at Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. And we would be remiss not to mention that Six, where the wives of Henry VIII joined forces for an electrifying pop concert spectacle, has just extended through July 2020 at the Arts Theatre. This side of the pond, the show made its North American premiere at Chicago Shakespeare and has planned stints at ART, the Citadel and the Ordway before landing at Broadway's Brooks Atkinson in early 2020. It can't be long before New York is bowing to these queens. Thumbs up to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. In the likely event you've been unable to score tickets to the limited run of Fleabag at the Wyndham's Theatre this summer, you'll still be able to see it. Her solo show is scheduled to be broadcast through NT Live from the West End on September the 12th. The play debuted back in 2013 at the Edinburgh Festival, winning a Fringe First Award. The TV adaptation's 2nd season is up for 11 Emmy Awards in September. With or without the hot priest, Waller-Bridge is on fire right now. Thumbs down, so many have been saying in online petitions and the like, to the end of Les Mis' revolving stage. The original production of the classic musical, which had been playing in London since 1985, recently closed, allowing the Queen's Theatre to undergo renovation. However, another day, another destiny. A starry concert version headlined by Michael Ball and Alfie Boe is to run at the Gielgud Theatre this summer, and a restaged version, Sans Revolve, will open at the Queen's this December. This episode's lesson is very simple. A show is on Broadway and in the West End. It is never in Broadway, or in the Broadway, or on West End, or indeed on the West End. Broadway is a street. You can be on a street. You can therefore be on Broadway. Yes, Broadway is also a greater concept that includes Lincoln Center and other streets, but the roots of the expression on Broadway are actually very logical. The West End isn't a street. It's an area of London. Thus, you're in the West End. If an entertainment journalist you are reading makes an error on this one, and I have seen it done in publications of record, you're allowed to ignore them forevermore, because they clearly do not know what they are talking about. Lesson learned? And now we're catching up with Brit actor Tom Sturridge, who was Tony nominated for Orphans and is currently back on the Great White Way with Seawall: A Life. Tom.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
So, the Hudson Theatre and this beautiful room.
It is the Hudson Theatre.
You were here for 1984. Is that now in your contracts that you have to come to this particular theatre on Broadway?
It's the best theatre on Broadway.
Well, you and Jake, both of you.
Yeah, this is his second time here as well. He opened it with Sunday in a Park with George.
He did.
Or they reopened it.
And then, you turned up in 1984.
Yeah, kicked them out.
This is a bit different from 1984, for anyone who saw 1984. There was a lot of noise, there was a lot going on in 1984,
yeah.
And you are doing a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the most terrifying mountain to climb, or is it something that you always wanted to do?
It's definitely not something I always wanted to do. I thought it would be the most terrifying thing in the world, but what I discovered is that you can't really go wrong as theatre actors. We're pretending to be something that we're not. You're normally in a room in Russia with your dad talking about the horse you're in love with, and normally. And with this, and the audience pretending that they don't exist.
Yeah.
And with this, it's the opposite. It's like I walk in off the street and I go hi to everybody, and we're all in the room together, and whatever happens, happens. You can't really make a mistake. It's as live and present as it could possibly be.
I mean, you break the fourth wall. Like, that's one of the reasons why you grab the audience. I mean, they were hanging on to every word you were saying.
Hope so.
The piece is tough, isn't it? It must be difficult to deliver 8 shows a week.
It's Primarily for me about love. And about the love we have for our partners and for our children.
Yeah.
And the energy it gives you trying to articulate how much you care about another human being is actually really kind of, it is easy and kind of beautiful. And because you're so connected to the audience, you're charged by them, and you can come on in whatever state, and this kind of collective consciousness of 1,000 people is, the best battery in the world.
You and Jake are doing different monologues, but I understand that you were in the rehearsal room with each other. Is that right?
The entire time, yeah.
Wow.
Technically 2 monologues, but this is an evening. This is one singular theatrical experience, and it was really important to us to spend as much time together as possible, so that somehow our personalities would sublimate, and the way we were approaching the work would have consistency, and also it's so rare to watch an extraordinary director, Carrie Cracknell, and an extraordinary actor, Jake, work together, and as an outsider. Normally when you're rehearsing, you're kind of in it, and it was fascinating.
So it sounds like it's been a huge learning curve on many levels, this whole experience.
For sure, yeah.
You come from a very theatrical background. It's exciting to me. Anyway, I was watching Amazon Prime the other day. Go with me on this.
I'm with you.
Brideshead Revisited pops up, and I think, I've not seen this in years. So then I start binge watching Brideshead.
Classic.
And I'm busy doing a bit of a Google on the sofa.
Sure.
Your parents met on Brideshead Revisited. That's the most amazing love story I think I've ever heard.
They did meet on Brideshead Revisited, yeah.
So you were a young actor. Did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
Honest truth is no. The first time I saw my mum act was when I was like 24.
Oh, really?
I saw her in a play called Waste at the Almeida. So they kept that life very separate from me. Connected to this, the reason I wanted to be an actor is because of Simon Stevens, who wrote my play.
Yeah.
I did my first play with him, basically. I'd done a couple of movies, which happened by accident, and was like a interesting experience, but totally it hadn't become a job for me. And I didn't go to drama school, and so the London theatre world is a little bit kind of, if you haven't been to drama school, they don't really like to let you through the door because they're worried you can't speak loud enough.
RP, you can't project.
Seriously, I mean, it genuinely is like
Yeah.
that. They're like, you've done a film, you whisper.
When did you first become aware of the concept of Broadway? Were you a kid? I mean, when did you come to New York as a kid?
My dad took me to The Lion King.
Here on Broadway?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When I was 12. Seriously, it was like, I remember when the elephant walks down the aisle at the beginning. You know what I'm talking about.
We all know what you're talking about. It's still here.
And it's like a little 12-year-old, and just kind of, you're like looking at the sun on the stage going, this is Disney. They really skimped on this. It's like a linen sun. Like, come on, guys. And then suddenly there's a elephant next to you, and I was just like, started to believe in magic.
So you did at that moment you think, I would really love to come here one day to Broadway?
I think I was more like, I really want to be an elephant.
It's a goal.
It's a dream.
But I mean, what is it about Broadway that keeps you coming back to it? 'Cause this is your 3rd show on Broadway.
In many ways, it's sort of like the pinnacle of the theatrical experience. There's something about the energy of there's some kind of ley line underneath this. Something magic happens in this little square mile or whatever it is.
What do you hope audiences take away with them from this evening you're doing with Jake?
What I love about this play actually is its refusal to be prescriptive in what we want them to take away. I inherently mistrust in theatre the idea of consensus, that you're supposed to laugh at the same time or clap at the same time. I think theatre at its best is an extraordinarily democratic space, and what I want is for every single individual in that 1,000-seat theatre to have a personal experience and leave with their own.
I think they absolutely are. Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time. Cheerio.